Welcome back to Sweeney's Breaking News Studio. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Louis Sweeney. I am a retired state trooper. If you have been keeping up with my side of the story, you'll know that I had a story pertaining to the 2024 presidential election between President Biden and ex-President Trump. I had mentioned in that particular story that I noticed something that took place on that stage that night. And one of the things that I have said, that Biden appeared to me to be sick. I could tell by his actions that something was going on with him that night, which, in my opinion, had an effect on the way he behaved that night. And now, President Biden is now dropping out of the race. If you hadn't gotten this book yet, and if you decide to check out my book, compare it to what the other authors have been saying about our system of government. See who's telling the truth. We are in trouble. Take for an example of the assassination attempt on ex-President Donald Trump. Through my experience, I have seen quite a few suspicious mistakes that were made during that whole rally that ex-President Donald Trump spoke at. A lot of things do not add up. A lot of questions that should have been asked, that should have been investigated, and should have been revealed through the news media was not being spoken about. And you cannot take for granted to be true the first thing you hear. You have to think, now, why would a person say this or do that? Then you have to think about, did that person leave something out that he or she did not want me to know? You have to ask yourself those two questions in order to arrive at the truth. And I can almost guarantee you, if a corrupted individual knows that when he or she says something to you, you are going to take that and look at it in three different ways. The corrupted person that's telling you something would not want to talk to you. That corrupted individual is counting on people that has a one-track mind. There are many well-educated men and women working for our government who specialize in manipulation and are good at it. There is a such thing of subliminal messages. There is a reason why people who have worked for the government have gotten out of the government and started writing books about what they have seen and heard take place behind those closed doors, about someone behind those closed doors. If you work for the government and you are in a position where you had to swear an oath, that means you are obligated by that oath to report any violations of policies, procedures, rules, regulations, and the law while you are still employed by the government, no matter what position you are in the government. And if you don't, that means you are just as guilty as the ones those authors are talking about. That is why the corrupted individuals of the government already knows those authors are just as guilty. I wrote my book while I was still a state trooper. Now, when you read my book, you'll discover that I had filed a Title VII racial discrimination and retaliation lawsuit against my department and the state. Why would you think a gag order was put on me? There is a lot more that I want to talk about. There is so much to say about this particular topic. I'm going to break it up into part A and part B. What you have viewed so far is going to be part A. Stay tuned for part 2, which is coming up next. Until the next time, I'll be back.